It's Deidre. Hello again. We are almost at 100 subscribers, and that's awesome. Thank you. I, male 20, have recently parted ways with my girl, female 21. I made mistakes, but I wanted to show her I could change for the better. What can I do? For context, we've been together for 6 months, including the off and on time frame of 4 months. Time frame of 4 months. I wasn't the best boyfriend from not being able to balance out my relationships and friendships. I've had the issue of keeping people I've talked to in my followers list on Instagram because of my ideology of letting them see what they have lost. I have made mistakes revolving trust. Recently, I felt like everything I think is right always turns out to be wrong. I've tried to do everything to show her I'm different. I have even distanced myself from my friends to focus on her and my work life. I have blocked every possible person that could have feelings or anything related to it. I have went private on Instagram and recently deleted social media. I want to contact her or show up, but she made it clear she doesn't want to ever see me in her fucking life again. That's what hurts the most. I know I'm young, and compared to others who post here, it's probably a lesson. I just really think she's the most beautiful girl, and with a personality like hers, I just wish she could see my change. I wish she could trust me all over again. I know I could have done stuff right from the start, but I just never knew how to differentiate a relationship from having fun. I feel lost, and without social media besides this, Reddit, I just want to know what I can do to kill time. Not to mention the thoughts of self-harm. I feel myself slowly losing myself, and as someone who is interning under an accounting firm, I wish for this event to not affect me drastically in my work life. If you have any suggestions, please comment. I really need it. Thank you. There's a whole lot to unpack here. First of all, he said, and he kind of skimmed over it, but I think it's very significant. I have made mistakes revolving trust. Trust is what you don't want to lose, because once you lose it, you're probably never going to get it back. It's a very tricky thing. It can make or break. Completely shatter a relationship, because once you cannot trust a person, it becomes almost impossible to feel safe investing the most sacred parts of you with them in a relationship. Relationship, at its core, is trust. And he has made mistakes revolving trust. He kind of skimmed over that. He didn't give any details, and I think there's a reason why, but it's very clear to me that he has a lot of issues. I think the thing that first gave it away was when he said, I have the issue of keeping people I've talked to on my followers list on Instagram because of my ideology of letting them see what they have lost. The way that he sees those social interactions speaks volumes, in my opinion, of his mindset. This is not a growth mindset. As much as one might hear that and think, oh, I want them to see, how much I've blown up and grown up. And no, that's not where this comes from, especially when you're a person that is running around in circles, chasing your tail, and don't know why it hurts when you bite it. What he goes on to do is cut himself off from the whole world in hopes that this will fix his problem and bring this girl back to him. But he also mentions at the bottom, I'll also say this, he mentions at the bottom, he feels like he's slowly losing himself. And he feels lost without social media. Now, why would you do something like that? Do you really think if she came back into your life and you were still unable to have all of those things for the rest of your life, that you would be happy? Probably not. And you would probably harbor a lot of resentment. And the only person around you, because you're not going to take that out on your coworkers, the only person around you for you to take it out on is this poor girl. Is that what you really want? Does that make sense? This is a person who needs to go to therapy. He's trying to keep this girl in his life by doing everything but fixing the problem. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to face it. And I think I've said it before. It sounds like he's embodied a beast. There's probably a lot of unhealed things leading up to where he is now that he cannot deal with, cannot confront, cannot take accountability for, making mistakes revolving trust. He needs to go to therapy, bottom line. If he cannot bring himself down to be that vulnerable, that's what I was referring to when I was saying his ideology on letting them know what they have lost. Like that mentality, coupled with chasing your tail, I can see it occurring in a person that cannot allow themselves to be vulnerable. He's afraid to disappear. He cannot open himself up to a therapist without exposure therapy to the therapy, maybe. But even now, if he finally bit the bullet and went to therapy, it's a slippery slope because that could easily be a manipulation toward the girl, which is quite common as well. He's right. It is a lesson. But it's only a lesson if you allow yourself to learn from it. And unfortunately, he's dug himself into a hole that just keeps getting deeper and deeper, hoping to quench his obsession with getting this girl back. And he is unable to step out into the cold without his jacket here and face the frigidity. You have to. You can't hold on to people and cling to them, and especially when you're doing shit like this. It's not going to make her want to come back to you. It's kind of creepy. So, my best advice to answer his question, if you have any suggestions, please comment. I'm not going to comment. I don't typically comment on stuff that I respond to here. But I strongly suggest meditation, therapy, and an effort to destroy that wall that you've built up that separates you from a healthy relationship and connection. It's there to protect you, but unfortunately, it will also destroy you. It will destroy your relationships when you can't connect to a person as a person in the way that you would want to be connected to and respected and loved. Then you're not going to have a healthy relationship. It requires being vulnerable. You have to. It's okay to be vulnerable in that respect. Like, that's what it takes. Unfortunately, some people are wired in such a way where they start to feel like they're going to disappear. They start to feel like their partner is abandoning them. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose. He should see a therapist and figure out, what he is actually dealing with, because that will probably open a lot of doors to support and tools that he can utilize to help himself throughout his life. That's all.
Yeah.